Have you heard about the new promotion?
What's the new promotion?
$42 tickets. 42. I say $42 tickets. Playing football, the Carlton went 42.
$42 tickets, bargain.
$42 tickets for round 15 for Adam Sard's 100th game in the Navy Blue.
Might come out of the watch along this week and get down and watch them play North Midfield. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the ratings show here on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. We're here after round 14 against the Blues. Had a match against the Eagles. And yeah, we're here. We're here to do the ratings. Proudly brought to you by Horizon Finance Group. This is now my therapy for the week, this show. I love it more than anything in the world.
I'm glad you do. That's good. I enjoy spending time with you as well.
Oh, man, it's crazy. It's wild what's out there, man. It's a war zone of anger.
There is a lot of anger, isn't there? There is a lot of negativity and pessimism and all the good stuff that come with being a Carlton fan. I mean, look, I'll be honest. I've been lax the last couple of weeks. Just getting through my comments is hard, and in my own shows. So I try and stay out of it. To be fair, I'm trying to just stay away from everyone, go to my normal self of being a hermit. And It's quite good. It's quite good. Do you know what I mean?
You got to protect your peace. That's just a reality.
Yeah, you definitely have to. But yeah, looking forward to this show. Always nice.
Yeah. No, it'll be good. So we're going to paint the full picture. We're going to get a deeper insight into exactly what happened in round 14, which, mind you, was a 34-point win against the Eagles. We're going to go player by player, take a look at their performance, take a look at their role, take a look at their heat map, and give us a better picture of what exactly happened and benchmark it against the best in the comp, because that's what we're hoping to do, and have a bit of fun along the way, have some laughs along the way, try and enjoy ourselves, because before we know it, the season will be over and we will be missing footy. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I used that analogy on the watch along. I said that we've literally had Dunkirk. That's what you've got to look at it. We've had Dunkirk. We've got a load of fucking idiots to get some boats, get us off the boat, get us off the shoreline. We've got home. We're battered and bruised. The press are telling us we're going to lose. We might as well surrender to the Hun. Japan's come into it. It's looking really bad. And we've had this idea we're going to go back. We're going to get back on them boats. We're going to free France. We're going to march into Germany. And I know it's a big analogy, but that's what you've got to be. I can't imagine my pop would have let anyone breathe in a pub if he told him he was mental, staying in the army, defending his nation. So we've got to do it. And we've got to take, probably, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. There's going to be some losses along the way. We're going to have to pick up some people's arms on the way. There's going to be some clowns crying in the trenches saying they want the mummy. But we're just going to have to keep going. Keep going. Keep believing. Do you know what I mean? If I've got to take a bullet for these Muppets, I'll do it. But we're just going to keep going one game at a time. One game at a time.
Exactly. One game of a great first quarter followed by a painful 3 until they just figure it out and come out the other end. That's what it is. That is the formula. This is what we have all been tasked with. Those of us who have been born into this club. I mean, luckily, some of you were born into, success. Some of us have been born into the process from ground zero. So You know what?
Mate, you just think of Michael Caine in the film Zulu. We're surrounded. It's fucked. We ain't going home to our lovely wives. We're not kissing our sons on the head, right?
Yeah.
But what did Michael Caine do? He stood up in front of his troops. He wafted a spear out of the air and he said, "Stop throwing those bloody spears at me." And he fought to the last bullet like a man. That's what we're doing, Terry. I'm Michael Caine. I'll waft them fucking spears until there is no more wafting me. Let's get this done. Come on.
Fuck yeah. All right. Let's start one by one. Okay. Let's go. Let's start with the backline as always. We start with Jacob Wiedering, who was coming off two. Wait. Oh.
Is that me?
Never
probably is me.
That's okay.
Oh, wait. It is there. Terry's lost it.
15? Anyway, Jacob Wiedering.
Jacob Wiedering. You know what? A couple of interesting point notes about our boy, Jacob, is I actually, you know what? Terry made me. I'll be totally honest. I've also ignored watching fan cams as well. Terry made me watch it this afternoon. Incredibly entertaining, I've got to say. If I'd lost faith in humanity, I definitely did after watching that. But Jacob Wiedering, this was quite an impressive one, this. Back in the 3 contested one-on-ones, was really targeted by the Eagles. Oscar Allen had that job of taking him. And you know what? I don't know where the hate's from. I actually like Wiedering's game. I watched it this morning at 1 a.m. again. And then I watched it for this at 9 a.m. So I've seen it quite a lot in a short space of time. Wiedering, I didn't mind his game, man. Like, the one thing I'll say is he was incredibly frustrated in the second. A few times he's telling people to clear out, which is a good sign because the last couple of weeks, Wiedering's been a mute.
Yeah. Yeah, he seemed to get out of his head this week. I mean, he'd come off 2 down performances by his own standards. And I thought this was a return. I mean, to be honest, I thought the back line in general was pretty unbothered for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's still the issues. I mean, looking at how we set up in the second half, there was some comments in there, like people saying get Lee Cleary is a great ball user. You could put prime Shannon Hearn at half-back line. You could put the greatest kicks ever in the back line. Bearing in mind, this guy's ranked elite for his field kicking as a key defender. All that's there is that long kick up the wing. So that's more of a structural thing that the Blues have to change. Wiedering, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it a few times. Some people will mention his dump kicks. They mention it in the watch along. If you watch, his support absolutely blazed him, particularly in the 4th.
Yeah. He
was looking for the short option. There was a passage of play where he screamed at Doc to clear out. You could see him like saying, get there. I need an option. So hopefully Jacob gives him a bit of a bollocking this week and says, look, I'm back, baby. Can we start moving as if I can kick a target, please?
Big game coming up against Souvlaki. So we'll see. So Wieders, he gets a 7.6. So a return to form, I would say. Then we go along to his mate, his partner in crime, and that's Jack Silvani. Also unbothered for the most part. What does the algorithm say here?
Yeah, so we've really seen a development in Jack Silvani's role from a real lockdown defender. And I've seen a few posts about like just let him go if he wants money. They're 10 a penny in the draft. I can tell you, if you watch any draft since 2020, there is no such thing as a lockdown defender anymore. They're all intercepts. Like it's if you fail at intercepting, you become a lockdown defender. So these are starting to become a bit of a rare commodity, and it's quite interesting that the top teams have a guy here who does what he needs to do. And you can see one of the beautiful things about the AFL rating system, I like to call it the sexy AFL rating system. If you don't do anything sexy, you get punished by it. And you can see here Jack being horrifically punished. But defensive metrics, outstanding. 3 1-on-1s, won every one. Strong in the marks. Down on the intercept possessions, though. But quite interesting, this guy is probably the most important player in that backline. He is literally creating space for Wheatering. And Wheatering's rating probably half up this guy because this guy manages to stop people getting to the contest.
So many attributes about him, which can only really come to fruition because of his experience. So understands forward leading patterns because he's been a forward, can kick on both sides of his body, can get himself out of traffic, hard to tackle, hard to bring to ground, competitive one-on-one, and also reads the flight of the ball well. So, yeah. Who is he in company with, for those who think you can just find another one? Like, let's be honest, in the league, who is he grouped with?
Well, I mean, you look at players like Jack Buckley, no one ever talks about, but Jack Buckley at GWS is inspirational, the way he allows Sam Taylor. The last time I've seen a defender have these attributes, and Carlton fans are probably going to be like, oh, he's not that bad. But ask anyone who knows football and ask anyone who knows Collingwood. Nathan Murphy. He reminds me of Nathan Murphy in this backline. The missing ingredient that he can take a dangerous player, keep him away from trouble, and allow his senior players, the guys who are meant to be responsible, Jacob Wheatering, to have a bit of fun, a bit of freedom out there. And Nick Haynes. I think the fact Nick Haynes continues to set his own company records on intercept possessions when Jack's there, it's all Jack without downplaying it. So I think Jack's incredibly important.
Yeah. I just hope he stays fit. That's what it is. 7.2 for Mr. Silvani. Then we get along to your boy, young Oliver, just growing up before our very eyes, this man.
My boy used to get a little bit upset when people called him my boy, but you know what? It's good to have the beautiful man back. So this guy here, this is one big structural change within the last 4 or 5 weeks, is where Ollie actually plays. And we're starting to see, the best way I could describe it is 2022 Nick Newman. So it's almost a wing role, but it's almost a halfback role. And I've got to praise Voss for this, right? Because this is probably the best way Carlton negate this weird wing role that we have. So this week, right, this is just standing starts. 21% of the time in D50, right? 54.2% of the time, what would constitute defensive mid. So they start that from 50 till you reach halfway. Then a staggering 25% of the time in forward mid and 0 in the full forward line. So this is just showing how hard he works. I would say where people talk about let's kill Motlop, let's kill whoever we don't like anymore. We talk about no leaders in the club. One of the biggest facets of great footballers is what their attributes are when it comes down to it. And Ollie Hollands, for me, from temperament, something I said in my review this week, attitude is the concrete of the foundation that is success. This guy oozes that concrete. Yeah,
no doubt. And he's one of the few that generate run and create energy when the team lacks it. He's just always on the move and always looking to create. It's hard to beat, it's really hard to always be the source,
This time last year as well, remember, people wanted this guy delisted.
Yeah, well, I think it just goes to show why you persist with certain players. And again, I mean, why you got to give these kids a chance and be willing to ride the bumps with them, which we'll get on to another kid shortly. There's a couple of them that played who are going through it. And yeah, it's it's got to be done with balance, but I think Ollie's a classic example now, looking back on last year and those 8 possession games and, what does he do out there? He's not getting enough of the ball. Like, well, we're now reaping the benefits of it. He's played 55 games now. And I think pretty much since his 50th, He's really started to elevate again. So I'm happy
to
for him.
answer the amazing Jen in comments as well, some interesting facets of Mr. Oliver's game. 14.7 kilometers run. But the staggering one, distance covered at high speed. So that is a sprint in the AFL is 18 kilometers per hour. That's quite fast. He covered 3.1 kilometers above 18 kph. So just so that's thinking, he's sprinting from start to finish as well, covering ground. That's outrageous. That's outrageous. That puts him in the upper echelons of footballers in the league.
Well, good on him. 7.5, solid score. Then we get to Nick Haynes, who you were touching on earlier with the link with Jack Silvani. What do we see here?
Here we are. Hello, Nick. Hello. Starting to like this guy, and tell you what, now he's got no Mitch McGovern in front of him. I am really enjoying what potentially could be in that back line. I feel like if I was the list manager of this football club, and if I listened to the fan base of doing a massive rebuild, this back six, as it was this week, I wouldn't be tinkering with too much. I reckon I could add the missing ingredients. This guy here is one that I would be saying to Harry O'Fowler, I want you to hold his hand when he goes for a wee. I want you to eat the same things he eats for breakfast, drink the same way, because I feel like Nick Haynes is what we've always wanted the players to be. Really strong 1%. A real hard thing about him is he's one of the few intercept players in the league that actually does something besides from intercept. Starting to have a little bit of a calmness about him. I really like what he's doing, and he's starting to really control that area. So I really do like the JSOS Haynes Wheatering combo. There's something about it. I feel like then you add Hollands. If we can add just two missing ingredients on there, is it Bergman?
You're talking off season.
I'm not, but I'm just thinking I could see Bergman with his dashing long, lofty locks. I reckon we might be onto something.
Interesting. All right. Nick Haynes, 6.8. And yes, is it Damien who mentioned it? Yeah, it is a shame that he didn't get a goal when he had a chance. That would have been a nice touch. He should be dropped, in my opinion, for that. Never playing again. Mate, we need standards.
If you've got fucking standards, get out of my football club, Nick Haynes.
Mate, sick of this woke nonsense, mate. Drop him.
Oh, dear. I had probably one of my favourite quotes of the watch along this week, where I said that the second half, I'm pretty sure half this list votes one green. I've adapted the woke nonsense to that now.
It's so good. 6.8 for Nick Haynes as we move along and we get to Adam Sard. What
can I just say?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So if you watched my review video, I did something a little bit different, right? So I'll exclude Terry from this, but like a lot of content creators, when they talk about you AFL, what they like to do is just pretend that you don't have eyes and just tell you all the things the big fucking problems that you can actually see. They're the kind of people that when you crash your car, they go, oh, you've just had a crash. And you're like, no, fucking shit. I mean, thanks, mate. Didn't realise. Cheers, Brad. And one of the suggestions I said, how do Carlton add that dynamism around stoppage? Maybe they look at Mr. Adam Sard. And this week, this was one of the things around stoppage Vossi did add. So I'm going to give Voss a bit of praise here. This is probably where we want Sard, and probably the next adaptation of his role is just trying to be that POD. And particularly in the first half, I think you really saw the Sard effect, I like to call it. He gets in there and he just gets them away and he gets them going. Second half, though, in that back line, it did worry me a little bit. I don't like this lockdown role. I really don't like it for Sard. I understand why he's got it, because he's the most senior head. He's probably got the bigger body, but I'm not a big fan. But I thought he did it serviceably this week. I just feel like I like Sard in the attacking phase, not the defending phase.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a better showing. No doubt about that. in the last few weeks. We've been a bit critical of him the last few weeks as well. I think together with Wiedering. So gets a 6 for his game, does Sardi. And then we get to another youngster, Matt Carroll, who made his debut against the Eagles and stayed in the side, which we liked to see for a second shot at it. How'd he go?
Probably was like, what the fuck's going on? These guys, it was cruise control last time I played to you guys. First time he's probably had to defend against anyone in blue and yellow this week. You know what I really liked about this game, right? And this was a little bit more of a caliber I would expect in Matt Carroll. There was a little bit of everything about it. It was like a pick and mix.
Yeah.
And I really liked how Carroll went about it. I like the way he gets his head over the ball. I like the way that he's game. I remember saying when we drafted him, he's Nick Newman 2.0. I stand by it. There's a little bit of Nick Newman about him. No job's too big. No job's too small. I'll have a crack. So I'm waiting for him to have a defined role, but I really like this game. As you can see by his data, quite well-rounded for a defender. There's no real specific thing he did great or bad, but he was there all the time.
I was happy. I mean, he lost his head a little bit last week in that third quarter, as a lot of them did. I liked that he didn't get dropped. I liked that they kept him in the side and didn't go with Jordan Boyd, which you could argue that they could as well. And similar to what I said about Ollie, I'm now seeing it a lot more clearly with Matt Carroll. Like, okay, let's get this kid to 50 games because there's just something about the way he goes about it that I think another preseason, bit more strength, power through the legs, experience, get him to 50 games, and I think we've got one here.
I don't want to start an argument because it caused an argument. There was a massive argument in the live chat about this, which was quite funny.
Right.
I ignored it, but I just handled it with, wow. But do you remember when there was that elbow to the face and there was a bit of remonstration and Carlton didn't really remonstrate? And I've noticed this the last 2 or 3 weeks. Carlton don't remonstrate when players are cockheads. And I think that's... Some people were saying they were cowards. I don't think they are. I think they're so worried about themselves and they're so worried about what they're doing that they can't disengage to get into a fight to then re-engage. It's almost like they're so warped in everything they're doing. One thing I liked about Matt Carroll, he was one of the few people that went and remonstrated with Harley Reid.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, that's what it was. Because as I said on the live, and I stand by this, I don't believe in this fair nonsense. If you can get away with it, do it. If you can cheat and legally get away with it, do it. You should have the hunger that you're willing to break the moral code in sport to win. And I feel like Matt Carroll's got that. He's got that sense of duty for his team. So I reckon a year or two, we might have a little thug on our hands. I
like it. So just to remind us all, 19 years old. He will be 19 for the rest of the year. Turns 20 on the 28th of November. He's played 8 games. I was alerted to this today. Do you know he's 190 centimeters? I didn't.
Yeah, he's a big boy, bro.
Pretty tall. Like I don't know what I thought he was. I thought he was more like a 182, 183, the way he moves.
You know what I do enjoy as well about Matt Carroll is no one talks about this, but he was sacked effectively 6 months ago.
Yeah.
His dreams were over. He was told to have to practice for his job with scrubs. Like, can you imagine how degrading that is? Like, for him, how much mental trauma. You're sacked, and if you don't do well in a 4-week block, you'll go to VFL, and the statistics are that 98% of players delisted never get re-picked up.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of fucking cojones already to just get back on the list, let alone start playing.
Yeah. So, again, 19 years of age, 8 games. This is a bona fide kid. So, well done. Well done, young man. 5.9 for Matt Carroll.
Then Stephen, that's my life motto. Thou shalt not get caught, mate. Hey, if you misscan things at Coles, thou shalt not get caught, mate.
Yeah. One of the elder statesmen on the other end, Sam Doherty.
You know what, right? This wasn't a good game from Sam Docherty, and I don't think anyone's out there saying it was a great game. But what I did enjoy about this is this, if I had an old guy, and it feels weird saying an old guy because he's younger than me, but this is what you want. You want him playing that loose role, just having a bit of fun.
Yeah.
No real responsibility. Don't worry, we'll look after you, kidder. He was everywhere. This is one of the things that worries me because when the second half, in the first half, he had some nice passages of play. This is where you see this kind of role in an ideal world. This ball is coming to Adam Chera or someone like that. And it goes to Doc. And no offense to Sam Docherty, but he's never been the most crash hot kick. And that's probably where it falls off Sam Docherty. It's not his fault. He doesn't ask for the ball. They exit, but that's where sometimes, and I'm discussed it in my review video, is this where you maybe deploy Adam Chera behind the ball for a bit? If you're going to do that, put your better users there. Because if he was forward bombing it in, I don't mind it. But when he's like that back pocket, it's the next kick, and he's inexcusably kicking to the feet of a marauding Adam Sard who's burst through and he gets turned over. That's not good.
Yeah, that was a killer. 5.4 for Doc. Then we go to his former co-captain and the current captain of the team, Patrick Cripps. He didn't really need to exert everything he had in this game, did he?
Yeah, and if you believe SEN, who literally they are like the propaganda wagon of stupidity. That's what SEN are. I've now realized that Pom gets upset by stupidity. SEN is the poster boy of stupidity. But today they've said that this guy might have a calf strain or something wrong with his calf, which is no surprise. He's not playing great football. No getting away from it. Let's try and break this role down. You will be shocked that this output from Patrick Cripps is the output that we would expect to see from most AFL inside midfielders, that their job is to win hard ball, get the ball out. We've been very privileged that Patrick Cripps, through the grace of God and his own sheer will, does remarkable things. But this is genuinely what I'd expect from a guy like this. If you blindfolded me and said this guy's going to be on the ball all the time and he's just going to win the hard ball, this is the kind of stat sheet. Where is the problem we have with Cripps? In the second half, we'd probably want him to be a bit more impactful. But I think there was midfielders who were impactful in the second half. It just wasn't Cripps. And I think if we're all honest, do you want Cripps having the ball 30 times when you're trying to keep the ball?
Yeah.
I don't. No offense to Cripps, but I don't want him threading a pass on a one-on-one. I just want him winning tough ball and handing it off. But there's definitely something wrong with him. He's not at his high level. I won't escape it. But
I think also to add as well, I mean, in that second half in particular, Hudson goes down. Cripps starts taking a few more ruck contests. There was a bit of a shuffling going on there.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? With Tatum there, he's not playing like a superstar of the comp. But you know what? I would say I would disagree about being a captain, because I think last week him going in the forward line when he wasn't impactful in the midfield and Setterfield was causing chaos, it moved Setterfield to back pocket while he walked with Cripps. I think that helped Carlton gain some form of control in that second term, made it a little bit easier for him. And I would say this week, he moved himself out of the midfield as well when Harley Reid was getting on top. And I thought Hewitt serviced Reid in the middle very well. So I would say that there's different forms of leadership. I think people have blindsided that Cripps leads by putting everyone on his back. That's the most stupid leadership. If that's your leadership technique, you're not very good as a leader. If all you've got is the example. So, like with me, with Cripps, was it a good game? No. Is he out of form? Yes. Does the injury make sense? Probably. But I will say this. It's what I'd expect an inside warrior midfielder to have. I'm not looking at these stats and going, oh my God, drop him.
No, I mean, even when he's not at his best, he always finds the minimum standard, you know? It's just
My question mark is if there is an injury there, and it's definite the last 4 weeks of Cripps, the second half, the game's almost, I wouldn't say getting past him, but it's going a bit quicker than he's able to give.
Mm-hmm.
I would then question why, if we're very happy to remove Charlie Curnow at the first sign of trouble, 4 touches in a second half ain't great from your midfielder. So I would then question, is there not something we can do where we can protect Cripps and play someone else there?
Well, can we play him in the forward line this week?
Genuinely, I'm not going to undermine North Melbourne, but I would say Cripps is incredibly important for this football club. And you've been kissed on the dick with the next 2 fixtures at this stage of the season. So up the ante, let Chera and Hewitt do it. And if Cripps needs a week, let him go.
Fair.
Zach, who said Cripps has never been good? Tell me someone didn't say Cripps has never been good.
Find them and send them to me.
Jesus, it's a little bit harsh. Poor Cripper.
5.5 for Patrick Cripps. As we move along, we get into the thick of the midfield here. We start with George Hewitt, and he just continues on with his great season, doesn't he?
Ah, dear. Georgie Porgy, pudding in Porgy. He's very good, he's George. And what I'm enjoying about George is, if you go back to the start of the year, one of the big things I was drilling in, that there's got to be a point Cripper isn't the midfielder. It isn't his midfield. It's either someone else's or it's a collaborative effort. And I think George Hewitt is really showcasing to his captain, I can do it, mate. Don't worry, man. You don't have to put us on the back anymore. I'll take the load, brother. Contested possessions through the roof. Ground ball gets through the roof. The thing that I absolutely adore about George at the minute, though, is his ability at creating scoring involvements from the impossible, starting scoring chains. He's becoming the fire starter, is George. I really like what he's doing. And I think the next couple of weeks, he's got a real big task at his hands.
Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot about not doing the basics for long enough. I think he's one of the few that does the basics very well. 13 ground ball gets, I think, is astonishing given the conditions. He's just a clean player, and there's been a bit of talk around, we never get these development stories from average players and getting them to play out of their skin. I would say George Hewitt would be in the All-Australian squad almost, given the level of his play. Like
I'd say if you were picking a team to play, which we know the All-Australian is the biggest Mickey Mouse in the world. It's just, how can we fit 15 midfielders into this team so they all get a poxy little Guernsey? If you were picking a team to actually play, surely George would be, you're probably starting Hardhead. Yeah.
No, he was, Jay Baggers, he did come developed. That is true. But he's never been this good for this long. So
these are the kind of players that, if you're a decent football team, in my opinion, these are what you pick up from other clubs. Your extra role, your guy that's going to do the hard stuff. You should be drafting your sexy talent. I always think a good club drafts sexy talent, role players, adds role players in from other clubs to protect their sexy stars. And then if there's any room left over, that's when you bring in your dire need all-star. So I like George. I really do like it. The acquisition.
7.9 from George Hewitt. Then we get to his other mate in the midfield. A lot of talk about, Chera, Hewitt, take over, lead. Cripps is down. He's a bit sore. Walsh is out. And I thought, we've just spoken about George Hewitt, but I thought Chera was just as great in this game.
Yeah, I thought Chera this was probably, I think, in my opinion, my favourite game I've seen Adam Chera play for the football club. I liked his defensive application. I liked his hunger to get the ball moving forward. I love the fact that this is probably the first time I've seen him really getting close and try and do what Cripps does. And I think Petra made a great comment just earlier. People used to criticize Patrick Cripps for doing too much because the other people didn't step up. I really enjoyed the Cripps-like second half where he was literally putting his body on the line to receive that ball and make sure it went where it needed to go. And it didn't always come off, but that is very impressive. The only thing that this is going to be really petty now, really petty. So I want everyone to know before you comment, I'm being petty. I need to see the score involvements from this guy. I really need. That's the next layer because I know he's capable of it, but I want him to be a little bit more bold with the ball use. I feel like this is the most important position in the next couple of weeks. Next 6 weeks, no Walsh. Prove to Voss we don't need to play a loose on the outside.
So
you can do it. Take it on.
When you say the score involvements, so I mean, do you mean like 6 or 7 in a game? Like he had 3 in this game. So like, what's the level you're talking about?
It's got to be where we see everyone else who plays this position 6.2, so 6. I'll give him. I'll pay the 0.2.
Minimum 6. Yep.
Yeah. So I want to see and what I mean is great passage of play in the third quarter when Carlton literally were like, okay, let's not bother doing this anymore. To answer J Baggers, there's a few times he goes sideways when he could have handballed over to Ollie Hollands or gone the more aggressive kick. At times, I feel like Chera is a big part of our second half fade outs. I'm not blaming him, but I'm saying I think he's a big part of the cure. Going, right, okay, it's all right, boys. We're going to do it now. I'm taking it. So maybe if I was his coach, go and watch the last 2 years of Sam Mitchell's career. How he went bang. He said, right, now we're going, boys. No questions asked. I'm in charge. Almost like a quarterback. I want to see him do that. Felt at times he took a bit off when I know he's capable. Go for it, mate. Just make them play your way. Don't play their way.
Yeah. So 7.8 for Adam Chera. We start getting to another youngster here. Cooper Lord. What do we think about Cooper Lord's game?
Every time someone has a cry about Matt Kennedy, right, Cooper Lord, 24 hours later, decides to show me why I'm so glad we're not doing it to Matt Kennedy anymore. Yeah. Like, so glad. This guy played all around the ground this week. And you can see here, this is just his possession heat map. So that's just where he ascertained said ball. But this guy here, his data points, 12% defense. So that's inside D50. 50% defensive half, 32% mid forward half, and then the rest in the forward half. This guy is everywhere. Like, he's the new COVID.
He's the just new everywhere.
COVID, this guy. Like, honestly, he's everywhere. And it did affect his game. Good to see Voss trusting him with more centre bouncer tendencies up there now, 30%. He did share it with Motlop, which will come on to him. I'm really enjoying the new avenue of Cooper Lord, though. Since his draft, I followed him heavily in the draft. His work rate right now is in another plane. Like, people don't talk about... We always talk about the draft failures. We don't talk about the draft successes. And how he's brought his engine is crazy. How his engine has improved. Like, if only we could have done this to Stocker, we might have had the next Luke Hodge. But we might have Luke Hodge 2.0.
Or we might have Cooper Lord 1.0.
We'll go with that. I can't be bullied for that when it fails.
I think last week he ran 16.5 Ks. What was it this week?
Is he in the top 5? Has the AFL given us it? Oh, wait. I can tell you it's not on. So he's not in the 14.7 section. So I would imagine he'll be in the 14s, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. His running capacity, I was not familiar with. Like, the volume that he's able to run with. I was not very familiar with that part of his game. And just to add to the picture, because, you know, we're playing kids. This one here, Cooper Lord, he's 20 years of age. He will be 21 next year. So he's just turned 20 in March. He's played 14 games. So there's another one.
I hope and I pray you can see that his rating's been knocked because, as you can see, not doing very well when you're changing your things. But I'm really hoping we see a bit more midfield output. But I did like the fact Voss gave him a shout out this week because he's working hard. Like he's literally playing positions he hasn't played. And that's a testament to him.
5.4. Then we get to Jesse Motlop. What happened in this game? What was the role here?
Oh no, the negative ratings are back. And I was wrong. Fantasia isn't saving him. Oh dear. You know what? There was a part of me that died yesterday. And this is the only thing I'm angry about. I'm a bit different to everyone else. The only bit I'm angry about is when I saw him attend so many centre bounces. You have no idea how upset I am. I was so upset about him. I mean, I'm trying to get my head around it as best I can. And it's genuinely struggling. But to see him play 30%, he played 87% in the midfield this week.
Wow.
Only 14% of the time did he spend in the forward 50. And you can see, I'd love Voss to explain this. I don't understand the media in this country because they ask him stupid questions like, does Charlie Curnow like surfing or bodyboarding? What's your favourite duvet, Tog? Like, no, like, honestly, like, I don't understand how you get a media qualification in this country. It's got to be something sexual because it ain't intellect. I'm pretty much confident on that now. But the first question I'll be asking is, what is with this? Because last week it was back to 85% in forward 50 time. Looked fantastic. There was something there. Looked like he was having fun. And then I was worried pre-game when Michael Voss said, oh, it opens opportunities for the kids. Lord's obviously going to get some minutes, but he literally, word for word, goes, opens up some opportunities, though, for a rotation for one of our smalls. And I was like, oh, no.
Oh, Michael.
Oh, Michael. No. I don't get it. And you can see he struggles because you know what? The problem is he gets these handball receives and he wasn't even targeted this week. So you can see under the amount of handball receives, this is quite a high facet of the game. So a handball receive is obviously the clues in the name. Like I'm not gonna patronize you all and explain what a handball receive is, but if you go through handball receives in the league, so just this week, handball receives are genuinely these types of players. Bailey Smith, Finn Callahan, Zach Butters, Colby McKercher, Zach Merritt, Myers. These are the players that generally going to damage you. You're trying to give it there. So he's not even there for that point of difference. It's more of a defensive role, which I find weird because when I see Motlop in the forward line, I don't think pressure forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird role. I mean, obviously he plays it because Voss keeps picking him doing this. So again, the algorithm doesn't like it until Michael Voss rings me personally and says, this is what I'm looking for. I can't really help validate it.
Yeah.
That's just so you know, that's the third lowest score and he has 2 of them.
Yeah. It looked so good last week too. He looked to have responded as well, but wasn't to be. 2.6 for Jesse. Then we get to Orazio Fantasia.
Wasn't on his own, though, because he was joined by the man who invented this role. You know what? I'm not going to... He didn't invent this role. We invented this role.
We invented this role.
If you're watching, fan, it's not you. You didn't make it up. But this was weird. And then this week, he had less of the time. So this is more like a midfoot. This is what we'd expect Elijah Hollands to play, this role.
Right.
Which I'm not too sure, because last week I thought Fantasia actually played the Motlop role okay. I didn't like it, but it was acceptable. Do you know what I mean? It was acceptable. This role, I wouldn't mind Motlop playing just outside 50, link-up guy, give a handball here and there, a bit of space to play. I thought his pressure acts were pretty good playing this role. I really did like his vision as well. The score involvement's really solid as well. He was really active. He was involved in a lot of scoring chains. Like, I just feel like, yeah, I'm not too sure. It feels like Voss, in his mind, has to pick Fantasia and Motlop. It's like, so he's kind of making roles up.
Right. Yeah, this was one of the more active games I think I've seen Orazio with the ball for Carlton ever.
Yeah, they targeted him. And a good, solid average roll.
Yeah, average roll, 5.5. Fair enough. Then we get to Jackson Binns. Oh, have I got a can of worms about this boy?
You know when I get angry when Carlton fans just suggest, play Sard wing, play McGovern wing, play anyone wing. This is why you can't play anyone wing. Look at this. Doubled the amount of uncontested possessions, kept his width, doesn't even know the center of the ground exists. He's almost like Carlton's ball movement, doesn't actually know there's a corridor, which makes me happy. Ran over 15 Ks this week. And what I really like about Jackson Binns, there's a couple of players in the league, right, that really play an entertaining role. It's this kind of like extra bit of threat, usually coming out wide. He stacks up with them. Them players are players like McCluggage. Them players are like Adam Trelaw, who starts out wide. Players like that. So I'm not saying he's at their level yet, but I really like the fact he keeps his width and then allows himself a point of contact in the game. People talking about his ball use this week, which...
Oh, please help. Please help me.
It's shocking. He needs dropping. No,
Please.
Serious. So if you look at him this week, right, you actually look at his like raw data. So we have a look this week. So he kicked the ball an awful lot of times, 21 times. 21 times. So that's above AFL average for normal. His disposal efficiency was 62%. He's where you see a lot of these players who have played under 50 games get it. He's putting them in dangerous zones, though. So this is an area here really for him that he can do it. His kicking's never going to be elite, but he works incredibly hard. And I feel like he just needs a bit of time to adapt to this role. But I really liked how hard he worked. I like this game.
I am trying to understand a lot of things in life, as you know. Maybe I think too hard about things. But I break this situation down like this. Jackson Binns, 20 years of age. He'll be 21 in October. Just played his 7th game. Was a late in for Sam Walsh. Got 3 coaches' votes. I log into Instagram today and I see a post about him, like bigging him up. And I read comments that read as follows. Mind you, same people say play the kids. So the kid plays. And I read the following. How many turnovers? Would love to know his efficiency. His ball use was extremely poor. This person didn't even bother to actually go check the stats, just typed without thinking, right? Secondly, did he make impact though? Okay. Third one, shocking. Fourth one, not up to AFL standard, can't kick. And I'm thinking, what do we want here? What are we doing? You want the kids, you don't want the kids. You want the kids, do you want to focus on their turnovers? He's had 26 possessions. He's kept his width. Oh, then there's the classic, but he needs to be harder around the ball.
He's a winger.
What is wrong with people? What is
He's a
wrong
winger.
with people? I don't get it.
The minute I have to mentally hang up on anyone is whenever they say need to be tougher on the ball when you're a winger. I actually mentally hang up because that's like saying to a surgeon, how do you not know how to change a catalytic converter on a car? You work on bodies all day. Cars and bodies are the same.
Like, I looked at it. He had 4 turnovers. Wiedering's had 6. Nick Haynes had 6. Cheras had 5. Like, it happens. Turnovers happen. He's had 26 touches. I'm just like,
look,
what are we doing? Is this us?
Look, he definitely There's no doubt in my mind, right, that Jackson Binns has some things to work on.
Yep.
Right. But you know what? When you look at, I'd say 2 of them turnovers were inexcusable, stupid decisions, which I would expect from a guy under 10 games. Right. But the other 2 turnovers were in really sexy spots. That they were like in spots that on another day we're having a conversation where we're all getting a Jackson Binns tattoos. But what is the biggest problem with this football club? Its ability to extract the ball from a contested position to the spread, right? I liked it. And you know, one thing I liked, they panned in about second quarter. He came off on the rotation. He looked fucking fuming. Like,
Yeah.
he looked like, and he wanted to be out there. And they're the kind of players we need in this side, right? Who actually want to be out there when the chips are down, hungry to get back out on the field. So, you know what? You want to play the kids? Let's see Jackson next week. Because I agree with Lou. He's only played West Coast. But
Yep.
I will say this. We're not in the top 8. So who the fuck are we to talk?
Yeah. Mind you, he's come in late as well. Sam Walsh was a late out in the week. So there's that as well.
Like,
but
honestly,
again,
Carlton Football Club, the way that we need to look at, it's a little bit like being Welsh, is the way I see it, right? A little bit like being Welsh. And what I mean by that is the Welsh think there's something to be proud about being Welsh. And all they've done is put leeking potatoes, which is just a shit onion. They sing well, but all the songs is shit. No one gives a fuck about Charlotte Church, right? And then they're really good at rugby union, which is just a sport played by pompous, obnoxious men. No one cares about rugby either. So really, all their historical success is laid claim because they happen to be landlocked with the English, and the Irish are quite nice, and they let them pretend they're Gaelic as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's the beneficiary. So that is like Carlton Football Club at the minute. We are irrelevant because everything we've done is another lifetime ago.
yeah.
So I like Binnsy, man. Binnsy, go again.
And I've been one that early in the season I'm like, he's not ready, and I watch him now. He just looks a bit more comfortable at the level. I think he's shown improvement. And
John Holden makes the best comment. Sam Walsh, Cripps are guilty of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And when Sam Walsh does it, everyone praises him for him because he's little Sam Walsh. Little Samuel Walsh, number 1 draft pick. But Jackson Binns, he should be better than a player that everyone blows smoke up the arse that he's the greatest player to ever play the game.
I just think he's going on. I just want to get behind him. And of those 7 games as well, 2 of them he's been the sub. So I'm not saying he's a star. I'm just saying give him a chance.
Yeah, just Carlton fans, stop being the fucking Welsh. No one likes them. The Scottish hate them. The Irish hate them. Poms especially hate them. We even have a rule that you can still shoot them going over a bridge with a crossbow. No one uses it anymore, though. Like, stop being Welsh. Go east or go west.
7.8 for Jackson Binns. Bloody great score. Well done, young man. I'm behind you. Get in there, mate. Get in there, young man. All right. Blake Acres. Oh, boy.
Well, Pom trying to find some compliments for Voss this week. You know what? When I die and Matthew, Mark, Luke and John look at me, I want them to watch this fan cam and go, I did my best, boys. Did my best. I like the fact he's taken away the defensive role from him, right? And tried to play him a little bit more wide. This is what's killing me here with him at the minute, because now we talk about turnovers. The average winger will have 6 turnovers before a turnover, right? This guy averaged 2.3 touches till a mistake. That's not great. That moves everything else down. When you're averaging over 22 meters per touch, that brings you right down. And this is where I'm looking at similar types of players that are playing this role in the AFL. Ed Langdon is a great example.
Ed Langdon last week sacrificed his wing role to run with Nick Dacos, right? It was a horrible display. It was a horrible display as well. I know everyone's frothing it, but having less than 5 touches and Nick Dacos still impacting the game, Mickey Mouse stuff. Blake Acres needs to be like Ed Langdon this week, where he was very reliable with the ball. He dictated the play. When it got on the width, he kept them going. And he worries me with Blake because it's either brilliant or poor. I can't think of anyone worse in the league whose best is another level and his worst is the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's very volatile.
He has no, like, medium.
Yeah, he's Blake.
And you know what? I really wonder, call me crazy, Nick Newman comes back. After that injury, would you want him playing the lockdown defender role? I probably wouldn't.
No.
Is this an adaptation of the role that Ollie Hollands is playing? You put him as that marauding halfback and then give Ollie this two-way conduit role and allow Jackson Binns to play that left wing on his own. It'd be a thing to... Because it just feels like he's off. And I know he's had a lot of shoulder injuries. Just feels like since that big shoulder injury last year, he's lost that strength through the core to take the game on. And now he's just getting caught.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one to look at. Doesn't help himself when he plays on in front of goal and hits the post as well. How'd you go on the watch along when that happened?
I celebrated because I thought it went through because they did it again. They did that thing, where Blake smiles. The footballers need to stop doing that. Stop acting like you've kicked a goal. I need an explanation. I thought, I couldn't believe it. I was very upset once I'd realised that he'd missed.
5.2 for Blake. Then we go into the ruck and we go to Tom De Koning.
So I only saw the coaches' votes, like just as we were about to go to air.
Right.
Because someone posted them on Twitter. So thank you, Twitter. So yeah, I was genuinely surprised Tom wasn't in there. I was genuinely surprised. I really like this game. Defensively, it wasn't his best game, and that's something we've been praising him for the last couple of weeks. But I love the fact that Cripper was down in the midfield and Tom became that extra midfielder. The amount of times he won the contested ball and the ground ball gets, these are midfield numbers from him.
They are. They really are.
Clearances, good hit outs, scoring involvements. And I loved his work behind the ball. He was up there with a key defender. He roamed with Bailey Williams forward, had 3 contested one-on-ones and won them all. So he played behind the ball as well. I really like this little development from him. I'm very impressed.
Yeah. He got a 7.6. Where's your feeling to this week? Has it changed? Do you think he'll stay or do you think he'll go?
I still look. I hate to bring the vibe down. I still feel like money talks, man. That's a lot of coin. A lot of coin.
Fair. Just. So
I hope he doesn't though.
Yeah, of course. He's 25, 90 games, born on the 16th of July. So in a month's time, he will turn 26. Let's get this done beforehand. 7.6.
I feel like everyone's a liar. If I was 25, I was single, I'd go for that coin.
Fair. I still think he'll stay. 7.6. Then we move along. We get to Zach Williams. How did your namesake go?
You know what? All the small forwards this week in patches made me really excited. And then I watched the game again and I'm like, oh, they're an irritating bunch of people, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? They're an irritating bunch of footballers. I really do like Zach, though. His endeavour
when Carlton are going well is really, really impressive, isn't it? Like, it's really impressive. When Carlton are going well, Zach is the glistening ground that we want, isn't he? It's like you can see it. And you probably shouldn't judge him like this, but I also think we are paying him midfield wages. And I know you shouldn't judge it like that, and that's really bad of me. But then when I start thinking how much he is, it does worry me a little bit. But as a footballer, he's scarily the best small forward we've got by a country mile. and I don't even know what he is. We signed him as a halfback, thought he was a midfielder. And evidently he's better than all of our small forwards, which probably is why he's worth every damn cent. His goals are impressive, in it. I just need to see him. I'd love to see him in and around the ball. I can't escape that Voss obviously is trying to find this rotation. I feel like when Zach's not getting the ball in the forward half, he kind of disappears. I'd love to see him just stay a bit more engaged, and maybe that's something we could do.
Question, right? So the Motlop playing the midfield minutes. Are we looking to develop him there for the future and it's short-term pain, long-term gain? Or are those midfield minutes better suited to a guy like Zach Williams? Who can get the ball on a handball receive, knows how to position himself for such movement. If anything, he's better running forward with ball in hand, or maybe I've just still got the vision of him as a halfback in my mind. And that way we keep him engaged. I don't know.
I just feel like you saw it in the first half, in the first half, first quarter particularly. Every time he got the ball, something happened.
Yeah.
So he has that vision. Yeah. And I mean this with all due respect for Motlop. I've never looked at Motlop and thought, oh my God, this guy breaks games open.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Motlop just staying in the forward line helps him. Just feel like this guy here makes something happen. But I like Zach. There's something about him.
Yeah, he loves it. 6.6 for Zachy boy. Take it away. This man, Pomcotter.
So we talked about it in the preview that we wanted to see him. I'm a firm believer, full caveat. I don't think today's game there is any value in tagging midfielders, and the good tags we see now are on halfbacks, and it allows you to impact the game because you're already in kind of a hot zone. I thought, firstly, the run with Rolly Dunley and Baker was very good. I thought Liam Baker was bang average. For most of the game. Shout out, though. Leading the team in score involvements was our Pomcar. Like,
wow.
Do you know what I mean? That takes some doing. He took his goal, absolutely, like, honestly, not adding any glaze on this, but the composure on the lad. Oh, man, yes. He looked so step. And then he looked at it, he thought about it, and then he just snagged the fucker. Good goal. Worked hard defensively as well. Really well-rounded game, this. And I'm not shocked to see the gentleman in the coach's votes.
So in the first quarter, there was a passage of play where he lowered his eyes and he hit McGovern, and the commentators were talking about it as well. If only he knew how much seeing him lower the eyes and kick the ball like that is like an antidote to my decades of damage as a Carlton supporter. Like, genuinely just makes me so happy. I hope he just keeps doing it. The word resilience in the dictionary should have a photo of him on it next to it. And I just love the way he goes about it. Just plays like he's literally plays. Someone asked me a question on the fan cams. I think it was Jesse, and he was at a function with the Dominator, and the Dominator was saying something about not sure if the players play with the pride every possession. He does. Every second he's out there, he plays with this pride and this life at Carlton.
Plays like a man who's done it tough.
Yeah.
Hasn't been given the luxuries of his teammates, and a bit of an honour in there. Bit of honour, bit of pride. Honestly, seeing him kick that goal, though, that was a happy time. Man, he worked so hard. That goal Very impressed with him. Enjoyed his work.
Yeah, no, love his work. 7.6. It's a great score for him. Then we get to Lockie Fogarty. Mate, hit the scoreboard, this young man.
3 goals. People say he didn't do very much. I heard that quite a few times from the fan cams.
But Pom, he kicked 3 goals in the first and did nothing afterwards.
Tell you what, the way our small forwards have played this year, I'd take anyone kicking 3 goals and doing fuck all after that. To be honest, like, I genuinely, like, I'll give them. But I mean, look, his first half was spectacular. He was in the right spots. What was nice to see him have the confidence as well to take them shots on, which I think has been lost on Fogs. Second half, let's talk about the third quarter. This has killed him quite a bit. He went on a certain Mr. Tom McCartney. Hence, we can see he spent a lot of time up the wing. And as we know, Tom McCarthy became the first player for 4 years to have 30 touches for West Coast Eagles. That's an insane stat, just so you know.
It is.
Because the Eagles, it felt like their midfield at one point had it. So, I mean, he dominated the first half. He stayed engaged. Got to give a shout out. 9 scoring involvements. So him and Chincotta and Hewitt were the leading score involvements. His crumbing was the best out of all the small forwards. The goals, exceptional. The only knock on him was I mean, I will say this about Tom McCarthy, and we'll talk about him a bit later.
Yeah.
It was a good game, but I don't think he was hugely influential in the second. In the third quarter, I don't think he was hugely influential, Tom McCarthy, to anything that Carlton was struggling with.
Fair.
Do you know what I mean? Fair. I know that sounds weird, because I know some people will be like, oh, we had the ball loads of times. That he did. Yes, that he did. But, I mean, you've got to remember that I think it was 10. Just checking now to answer. 10 kick-ins. So take that off his game. 22. That's probably where most halfbacks are.
Yeah. So
can't tag a kick-in.
7.4 for Lockie Fogarty. Johnny Holden, he's gone and looked at it. He's debunked the myth we have aged. We have played 5 debutants and 4 others with less than 5 games each from round 1. 9 players with combined games of 40, yet they want to play the kids. Hey, Johnny, you speak too much sense, mate. About my man, Corey Durden as the sub.
Yeah, so Tulk, I don't know, do you have flashbacks in the third quarter when he was our deepest lying forward?
Gibbons.
Mickey Gibbons. I did think of you a few times. I was like, I wonder if Terry is going crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I did.
Do you know what I mean? You know what? Very impressive, like per pound for pound. To come on and have an above 0 for a sub is pretty impressive as well from Durden. I thought he was really active, really lively. I thought it was quite entertaining when I was watching Corey Durden, because I think that sometimes when you come on for an injury early, I always think sometimes there's a little bit of an attitude in players, as if they're like, you know what, fuck you.
Yeah.
I thought he brought the energy. I thought he was live wires. I thought he was working hard, was trying out. So, well, I thought he did enough. For me, he did enough.
Yeah, I mean, these are the sort of numbers I kind of seen for a full game for him. Somewhere between 5 to 10 touches. He had the 8, kicked a goal.
I think Damien nails it. There was a lot of lethargicness in that third quarter. Yeah. Like watching that third quarter, I didn't look any of the data the third time, and I just tried to blank my mind and just give ticks to players I thought impressed me. Right. He was like one of 4 who looked like he was actually doing everything he can to win this game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Played his heart out. Gets a 5.7. Solid. Then we get to Hudson O'Keefe, who unfortunately did the hammy. And he'll probably miss a little chunk of footy now.
So this is what, when we said the ratings last week, I said I wanted everyone to just cool their jets a little bit on Hoodie.
Yep.
As specified, to agree with chat, they were a borderline pretend backline. It was a makeshift backline, hastily rushed together. It wasn't their A-grade backline. And see how he does. See how he does against it. This week, he came up against, even though inexperienced, they're proper backmen. And let's just talk about the minutes played. He was struggling big style. There was a definite skill gap before the injury that you could see. It wasn't great. It wasn't great. So for me with Hudson, this is the risk you play when we keep doing it. Like I've already seen the glaze on Harry Lemmy. Do you know what I mean? 15 goals in 4 VFL games against teams that have an average ranking in the VFL of 12. So that's not great. He hasn't come against an AFL top 3 backman yet. When you're coming up against, I will tell you this, the backline at the Eagles is first choice in any of the VFL's AFL representative sides. It's first choice. It's A grade. It's the top. It's the top echelon. So this is where you've got to have that. This is why it's going to be incredibly hard for Lemmy if there isn't a recognised key forward there, because you are going to be bringing in him as a key forward to take the best defender. They're not going to triple team McGovern.
Gotcha. Yeah, and this is assuming that if Charlie's not to get up.
If Charlie's not to get up, if Charlie's there, his form's not filling me with confidence. But if Charlie is there, it helps. But I do like Hudson. This is why you've got to be a slow burn here, because it's a different thing. And you saw there was about 4 or 5 times he spilled uncontested marks. And that was from the pressure. He knew they were coming. So that's something that he's going to have to work.
Yep. So a little taste. Again, 20 years of age, turns 21 in December, just played his second game, and, you know, gets a 1.9 in this game, but obviously got injured. So we will move along. Pommy, are you with us? You look like you're frozen. Pommy? Oh, boy. Hang on, he's here. Hang on. You there? You there? He will come back when he comes back, or he doesn't come back, and that's the end of Pommy. I have a feeling he's knocked a cord underneath his desk. Whoop, he's gone. All right, chat. Charlie Curnow. This is obviously tricky. Played a quarter and some change. Had the calf issue in the second quarter. Really hard to rate him here. You know what? Chat, give us the Charlie Curnow summary. Go for it. I know. I know. Just when he came on. Just when he came on. He's been hacked by the club. It's a tricky one. I know. I understand that. It's a hard one to rate. And so I think what we'll do is, yeah, Albert. So this is the interesting thing. I did some digging about this. I watched his interview at the end. I perceived it as an injury that he already had, the way he spoke about it. And he mentioned that he should be right for next week. Maz, I'm with you. He looks like he doesn't chase, or he can't chase. I don't know. I think once the ball goes to ground, he's never been the type to chase in that way. I think that's not his job. I do think it gets a little overstated. His chasing, I think it gets put into hyperbole. Like he never chases, he never follows up. I don't think that's true. And if he is hurt, it might have a part to play in the conversation. So I don't know. It's hard to rate him, obviously. He's played a quarter and a bit, so he gets a 3.6. Blue Bagger, you reckon they rested him after seeing the first quarter performance? Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think we would go halfway through the second quarter where he didn't play much in that second quarter at all, and then go into that mentality from that early. Maybe they did. I'm not sure. Charlie's old school. You're Peter McKenna, Doug Wade, or Hudson. Correct me. I don't know what that means. Like, what makes him those players? What does that mean? Well, he's really gone. We lost the POM. We've got one more, but we don't have his heat map in here, right? So I'm going to wait. I have to wait for Pommy to get back. We can just finish it, though. And that was Mitch McGovern, which is a real damn shame because I think Mitch McGovern, in a short amount of time, has shown that maybe there is something left with him at the club. The reality is he's out of contract. He's playing for his life now for the rest of the season, and it's not going to be in this back line. So he became the makeshift forward, and then pretty quickly in this game, he became the key forward. We start the game with Charlie Curnow, McGovern, and Hudson O'Keefe in that forward line resting, and we end the game with just Mitch McGovern in there. So I'm happy to see this. I think once Nick Haynes and Jack Silvani settled in that back line, I was pretty keen to see this. And once we were all having these conversations around the back line just being one player too tall, I think that is when I was ready to see McGovern go down forward again. Also when, Brody Kemp's gone down and we need some senior leadership in the forward line and some IQ, I think McGovern can provide that for us. The issue now, unfortunately, is he comes back to the forward line, but Harry's not playing, and Charlie's also now not playing or didn't play much in this game. So it just never seems to align when we get these players back. But I'm really shattered we don't have his heat map because I think it would look great. Okay. Now, I'm going to move along. I'm going to showcase the team. Oh, we have a POM.
Family's dead to me. They just short-circuited the house.
Really?
Just dead to me. Tell you what, that could be some people homeless this evening. But anyway, where were we?
Well, do you have McGovern's heat map? Because I saw his rating, but I don't see his heat map and stats in this list. So it would be 59.
10 off a good number. Should be there. There you are.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Let's discuss this.
Yeah, so I mean, look, he remembered why he was such a force at Adelaide in their finals run. Incredible third forward, working with Tex and the big guys that were there, Sam Jacobs and the whatnot. And he showed that here. He takes him a while to get into it, doesn't it? But he started to look really confident towards the end of that first quarter. Looked like a proper forward. And I think people forget he was an incredible forward at Adelaide. And I like the separation from Haynes.
Yes.
I feel like Haynes is good. And I feel like Mitch was good. The only thing I didn't like was the back end when they moved him to the back line quicker than anyone else.
Yeah. I was just talking just before you came back. I was saying the journey to getting here, Sauce and Haynes settling in the back line, then the realization that I think we're one too tall. We're going to move one. It's him. He's gone forward. But the unfortunate thing is, this is a forward line that needs some senior leadership and some IQ. The issue, which is just unfortunate and really out of everyone's control, is that he's gone to the forward line. Harry's not playing. Charlie's not playing. So we just don't get to see what it could look like with the three of them there. And that's just misfortune.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a very important role the next couple of weeks. Like, should Harry and Charlie be out for a couple of weeks or more? I mean, maybe I'm a cynic. I don't believe Charlie plays this week.
Right.
Like, maybe I'm a cynic. So in an ideal world, I feel like Voss has maybe been kissed on the proverbial willy that he can play Lewis Young full forward as the body, Harry, Lemmy as the Charlie, have a bit of fun up the ground, and Mitch McGovern as the conduit, which I think he gets a kind of a bit of a look there at maybe this was the most obvious thing staring you in the face, Michael Voss. I'd like to see that. I mean, personally, that's how I would fix the Charlie conversation. I think Charlie needs a rest anyway. I hate to say that.
Yeah.
But I feel like having a week away would probably be good. So if you bring in Luke and bring in Youngie, play him full forward as the body, being annoying, Harry Lemmy gets that freedom to lead, and then Mitch is that conduit. I think that's probably the way around it.
Yeah. Also, just quickly, McGovern's got a great name for a forward. I know his brother is Jeremy, and he's held down the forward as like the intercept defender, but McGovern as a forward, imagine that. He's got 10 more games to save his future at the club. He's got to earn himself a contract and just finds his niche as a forward once again. I don't know.
You know what? Because people talk about plan B and stuff like that. Carlton has a plan B.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say it doesn't. That's why everyone gets upset that plan B doesn't work. And plan B, I think what some fans I'm reading, they want plan A, quarter one. Their idea of a plan B is just come up with a better plan A, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like that's not planning. Like, leave the planning to people that can plan if that's your plan. I feel like when people talk about Ollie Hollands at halfback, do I like it? I'm not a big fan, but I can also see the merit of when Voss doesn't play two traditional wing roles, having him play that high halfback role going into the wing kind of covers both bases. Would be very interesting this week, because I know Dion's saying he's just had a bye. I feel like what Charlie's got, and I'm only speculating, I don't believe Charlie's mobility has been crash hot since about round 6. In my opinion, I think we've seen real noticeable changes in him. So I would like, I think opportunity gives you a chance to be innovative, doesn't it, sometimes? And Mitch McGovern does annoy me. 2 years, never trained with the forward line. That is bizarre to me, because we've tried everything, haven't we? Kemp, Jack Silvani back there, tried Pitternet as a forward in pre-season. And you've got a guy that the only reason you bought him was because he was one of the top goal kickers in the league coming from that third. Maybe it's the baptism of fire for the young chap. And you know what? I didn't mind his goal kicking this week. You can see he's obviously been back training it.
He's got a good set shot when he's not concussed.
Well, I will say this. Speaking to a couple of players, he didn't train in the forward line all last year. So if you don't work on a skill, it becomes rusty. I remember an old golf coach telling me, if you don't dust off the silverware, it eventually becomes faded. So sometimes you've got to practice it. I'd imagine that Mitch McGovern hasn't had a shot goal for a long time. And you could see this week, definitely he'd been working on it, because he looked more reliable. I like Mitch, man. Like, as a forward, let's see it, because I do think the back line looks better with only one interceptor.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. This is the state of the team. That's a bit better than last week.
Dion, that was one of my favourite moments when Carlton spent a quarter with Pitternet at full forward. I have not enjoyed life as much as seeing Pitter line up against a fullback. Let's talk about this team. You can see the issues. So what I want you to do is, everyone keeps saying, oh, let's play a modern day football. And I'm pretty sure no one knows what modern day football is.
The modern game.
Yeah. We just throw out niche words. Yeah, the amount of people I see on Twitter comparing about tariffs, and they couldn't fucking explain to me what a tariff is. I'm like, okay, cheers, thanks. But here we go. You can see a definite issue straight away, blazing you in the face. And against a team, I don't care if they're good or back, you need eights. Eights are where it is. It means you're going well over what you need to. Having a backline there where the highest guy is 7.5, huge concern, particularly when Doherty and Sard are playing that easier role. So that having some injection off the half-back line, incredibly important. Midfield, again, the two guys doing 80% of the heavy lifting should have 7s or 8s. They've got a lot of opportunity. Look at the guys around them. No one's giving them anything. Everyone, meh. We're back to 85-year-old pulling his willy out and having a wee. Meh. Right. Some exciting things. Wing. Fucking hell, we got a winger, baby. Someone getting the ball out wide. And then, again, this is probably where the problem is. As much as I love Pom Cotter, as much as I like Zach Williams, he's got a good surname, good family name, and McGovern playing the third, that was all in a half.
Yeah.
If that was over 4 quarters, we'd be exciting. And again, look, Motlop, Fantasia, Durden, the guys who were offering you a bit of POD. It is. Tatum, is it a good result for a 30-point win? Not really, no. Not really. Because, again, this is telling me either stars or moments have won you the game. And in this case, we have to move the data, look for context. A magical first quarter won us the game.
Yeah.
So, but we've got things to work on. That backline ball movement needs to be better, needs to be more exciting. You're not always going to play a team that only 18% of their D50s become inside 50s. Most clubs run at 50, 60%. So there's a problem in itself. If this happens again, not against North Melbourne, because I feel like people are overrating North Melbourne, but if this comes against Collingwood, game over. Collingwood will be like, okay, cool. We can do that. We can do that at 80%. So there's areas. So I think to fix it, Lord, Fantasia, one of them has to stay in the forward line. 100% straight away. And again, that half-back line, I feel I don't want to pick on him, but I feel like Blake Acres is the name that, in my opinion, just using data from the VFL, the data would say Acres out, Ben Camporelli in, Lord back to that wing spot, give Ben Camporelli the limited Motlop minutes, put Motlop back in the forward line, sacrifice Fantasia to play wherever he goes, and then go small. Lewis Young in for O'Keefe, Lemmy in for Kerner, and really push that halfback line.
Wow, that's a baby blues lineup, but fair.
But you probably would have to, though, because, I mean, what's in there?
No, I mean, I'm not opposed.
I'd love to tell you we've got Chris Judd Prime lurking in the VFL. just dust him off.
Yeah.
You'll be all right, Juddy. Off you go.
Thing is, like, let's just play that out. You know, Ben debut, Lemmy debut, in addition to who's already out there in, you know, Carroll, Lord, Binns. So we would have to, we couldn't possibly go into such a game saying, oh, well, we have to win this game by 10 goals. Or
the only thing I agreed with Vossi this week, is when he said how much onus do you put on the scoreboard, and I agree with him. Like, the worst way to analyze anything is the scoreboard, because the scoreboard lies. So if you go back 2 years ago when Carlton destroyed this team, if you go back and watch my review, I was really pissed off with it because they were playing party time football. They were learning nothing from it. So when you get the excitement on the scoreboard, you learned nothing in that game, though. Nothing that will ever pay you back 5 weeks from now. Voss has got a crash course here that
his method of sustaining the game is susceptible to West Coast Eagles, who have the worst counter-attack in the league. All right. So that is a very important learning for Voss, because if that happened against Collingwood for 3 quarters, we're on the end of a 30-point loss.
Yeah.
So that's why the scoreboard, trust me, when you train professional athletes, you never look at the result very often. You don't look at the result, because sometimes the result can lie to you. If they haven't done what the plan is, that's not a very good thing. You've got to make sure the method is what you want. So from this, I think Voss will have learned a lot. He managed to prove that his system, when it contains, is susceptible to 18th. If it's susceptible to 18th, imagine what 17th does to it. Imagine what first does to it. So another opportunity for Voss this week. Can they hold on to a team that is desperate to win? Desperate to win.
All right. We're going to take a look at some of the Eagles players and the roles, and you're going to explain why you want to highlight them. We're going to start with the debutant, who the Blues, in good faith, have just put on the map. Welcome.
Another halfback flanker another week. This is why I'm a big fan of tagging halfback flankers. I think it's so important that you've got to tag a halfback flanker. Have to tag him, because midfields are. There was a pass. I can't remember who wrote the article. I read another article the other day, and he was arguing about that they're limiting the holding the ball from Ruckman, who take it out of there, and the whole reason is to make Rucks relevant again.
Right.
And I was like, that's a great point, because I think the importance of a ruck is becoming less and less in the 21st century. In the traditional sense, they have to do something else, which is no surprise. In a contract year, TDK has suddenly become a sensational backstop or a conduit down the wing. No surprise to me. So halfbacks are so deadly. This guy here, what did he do? Went at nearly 92%, went at 92.5, I think it was, had over 30 touches of the ball. 10 of them were kick-ins, obviously. Did he do much? Did he impact much? Well, let's have a look at it. Double the amount of score launches in the AFL. Under the amount of score involvements, though, interesting. He's not a kind of player that gets over the top. And this is probably why he wasn't drafted in his draft year. AFL recruiters like a guy that gives goals, runs forward. So when you watch Tom McCarthy play this week, real strong intercepts. Be interesting how he goes against a team that's not going to blaze it in. Because one thing I'll give Tom, there's not many better kicks of the football in the league than him. But
really?
As for impact against Carlton, it wasn't catastrophic, because he doesn't like to get overlapping. If this was someone like Josh Dacos doing this, warning signs, because he does overlap.
Right. So he got a 7.7 for his game. Then there was, I like this guy, Tyrell Dewa. Like him a lot.
So we have a little thing in our draft previews where Pom always gets like a little bit of love for a random guy that no one ever hears of. And invariably, this guy will have a good game when we play Carlton. It's almost like it's a curse, a Pom curse. But Taiwo Dewa, one of my favourites from his draft class, and he showed it this week. Now, I do want to pick on him a little bit, but he had 6 turnovers and 27 touches, right? 800 meters, 800 meters gained, phenomenal, right? But very similar to Jackson Binns getting killed. And 3 of his turnovers were direct score involvements in the first quarter for Carlton. So he did lose it quite a lot. But what I do like about Taiwo, kept his width. And you saw why it was struggling for Carlton. With Tom McCarthy and Dewa keeping their width and keeping the ball away from the engine room, it's one of the ways that you beat Carlton. And he negated that well. Hunter, that was Liam Ryan you're thinking of?
Yep.
The one who pretended to be concussed. Do you see that?
Yeah, I did.
Is that not the best thing? I actually thought he died. I fell for it.
Mate, it's great shithousery, and I'm here for it. Cheat where you can. So yeah, 7.8 for Dewar. Then the final one you wanted to highlight was Mr. Harley Reid. What was it about Harley Reid that you wanted to look at?
Harley Reid's was a really entertaining game, and I think what he showed here and what I wanted to highlight was how sometimes looks can be deceiving, because I saw quite a lot of posts last night saying, "Oh, Reid tore us apart. Our midfield's flat-footed. Harley Reid destroyed us." I'm like, okay, did he? Because I feel like Harley Reid suffers from a complex, right? Which is looking sexy complex, which you're doing what everyone else fucking does on the ground. But because you've got your underwear label showing out of your shorts and you've got long flowing locks, it looks good, but it's not.
Yeah.
And you can see here, very similar to the criticisms I had about our great man, Adam Chera. This is a very similar game to Chera. I don't think he gets on enough of things. And the thing about Harley is I feel like McQuarter's holding him back. And I'd love to be in the West Coast box, because I'd say stop trying to play for a deficit. Just go out there and get battered. But go for it. And I felt like in the third, fourth quarter, being highly critical of a young man, I felt this game was here to be won. I think Nick Dacos, at this stage of his career, would have looked at Carlton and said, I want a bit of this.
Yeah.
I'll beat them. And I feel like Harley Reid's been held back a little bit. He's been held back a little bit. I want to see him in them types of games. I want Harley Reid to go, Adam Chera, George Hewitt, Cripps, fucking past it. I'm the daddy now. Watch this and take it on. And you know what annoys me about Harley is he gets in these stupid fucking distractions.
He does.
I don't mind him. Look, I don't mind him doing the marketing. I'm not like that. But elbowing Fogarty, and then he had that little set to with Hudson. He had that laughing at McGovern, laughed at Akers. Just go out and play the game, bro. Because look, incredibly talented footballer. I'd say out of all the top 3 picks I've seen in the last 5 years, the most improved of his deficits. Because he does run backwards, which he never used to as a kid. As a kid, he was scared of defending. He works 2 ways now. But go out there and do the talking on the field, mate. Because you're a very good boy, very good footballer.
He got the $3,000 fine for his hit on Fog. So that's that. Do you have the other slides after this? I don't have anything after 67.
Oh, shit. I actually totally forgot to do them, but I will tell you.
We can do them on the fly.
Hey, look, I will tell you. So, obviously, the player of the game, no surprise to anyone, is Georgie Hewitt this week. 7.9. Phenomenal performance. And the biggest riser this week from last week to their projections, Jackson Binns, 7.8. Phenomenal. He was, we have a very similar thing to AFL ratings, where we have the protection of your starter, but we also have your projections. He was projected this week to have a 5.2. And yeah, blew it away. And you look at his last couple of games, that's amazing from him. And the 1% of this time, only the second time he's won it. With 10, Jacob Wheatering.
Oof.
With 10, followed closely from 6 from Tom de Koning.
So where was Silvani and Haynes on that table?
Haynes was 3rd, but now Mr. Silvani is having to play the lot. Maybe Voss has heard about this award.
Must have.
Because maybe he's trying to spread the load. Maybe the club know that the John Nichols medal has no value anymore. It's the Horizon Finance 1% award. That's where it's at. It's where the real daddies win.
Yes.
But yeah, fair play. Wheatering joins the leaderboard.
Absolutely. Speaking of, guys, pinned to the live chat is the Horizon Finance Group Instagram page. Before you leave tonight, go and give Nick a follow. Get around him. He supports this show. This is such an enjoyable show to do. Even when we have like a disgustingly bad loss, this just kind of helps process and like come out the other end and just I don't know. It really levels me out, this show. I really love it, Pommy.
What's it like after a disgustingly bad win?
Well, it's just mayo. Like, just pour mayonnaise on everything. It's easy. But after a loss, it kind of just helps, get through and unpack and heal. I think that's what it's all about. It's weird that I feel like we need to heal after 2 wins in a row.
I draw the lines when I hear this S word.
What's the S word?
It's the word I can't stand anymore. Standards. Genuinely, bro, honestly, people need to stop using this S word. The amount of posts I saw last week, if you're happy with that, you're what's wrong with this club. You don't have standards, right? And it's from someone that's like single, 55, and all they've got is a profile picture of a dog.
You know what's wrong with this football club? Many things are wrong with this football club. Having a crack at Jackson Binns in his 7th game is what's wrong with this football club. That's what's wrong with this football club.
You know what? I always say this, right? And this is one of the, it's a very simple thing, but you know what? I always think that you should never hate your rivals. You should always learn.
Yeah.
You should always learn. Don't hate. Don't hate. Don't hate. Learn, right? Don't hate. Don't learn, right? And if you learn from Collingwood, one thing that McRae says is that you behave like a champion first, and then the championship follows. And he was like, you've got to win. Got to win. And you notice them, they celebrate. They celebrate wins, whether they're ugly. The Melbourne game, horrible win.
Yeah, standards horrible. Though. Where were their standards? They should have been angry.
But then people say this, you can't compare us. They won a flag. Right? Well, they were doing it before they won a flag. Do you know what I mean? They were doing that year one when they finished bottom 2.
Also,
right? So you've got to enjoy it.
Also, it's interesting you say that. People will say, oh, well, you can't compare them. They won a flag. Okay, but every time we watch a game of football for the Blues, every third comment is, oh, but Collingwood do this. So it's always pick and choose when you can use an argument and compare. It's fascinating.
Comparison is the thief of joy. And I know everyone's saying, I've got a dog in my profile picture. It was a joke. It was a weird analogy. I'm not picking at anyone. I'm a 40-year-old Englishman. I'm not one of you Australians that does their bantering online. I'll just name you if I want to pot shot you. You can learn something from us, Poms. We're not subtle. We do things like proper men. But I was just using it as an analogy. It's always someone that is unwashed or unkept telling me about standards. But I do think it's important to understand that, yes, it's not good. Yes, that second half is going to lose a lot of times. Carlton have lost 9 out of 13 second halves this year. That's not sustainable. That's not going to be a top 8 side. But all data, all historical evidence, and it's an empirical fact that the best way to learn and the best way to win is by enjoying it. So that's what we try and do in the ratings. We try and break it down for you in a very intelligent, fun, light-hearted way where we can all have a laugh and we can enjoy it. But I'll tell you what, one thing I've learned in life, winning, whether you fell over the line, whether you cheated, whether you lied, whether you failed, is always better when it's a W than when it's a loss and a learn. Trust me, all the lessons I've had in my life, the ones where I've failed, yes, they've been permanent lessons, but you know what? The ones where I've learned and I've dodged a bullet and I've got away with it, but life is better because I've won. They're the ones that stick with me all the time. So just remember, yes, we're not a top outside. The ladder doesn't lie. But I could be like the rest of them, chat. I could come out here and just tell you what you all know that's wrong and offer you no solution, no presentation. Just pick on men for fun because my life's mediocre, but I'm trying to give you some options. And 4 points, bro. I'll never turn that down. I remember when we won 8 points for a year, Terry. Do you?
I do. Like it was yesterday.
Fucking sometimes feels like we're still there.
Bro, I did a preview today with Josh from the Further North podcast, and he told me that he cuts Aaron Mullet's hair. And I was like, oh, wow, Aaron Mullet.
Oh, what a man!
Yeah. Just reminded me of 2018. Great.
I want him back in my... hey, you know what? I'm going to go...
I don't.
No, I just miss him. I miss Aaron Mullet, man. He made me happy. You know, Aaron Mullet made me happy. You know what? That's my aim this year. I'm going to get Aaron Mullet on the Pommy Oz show.
Ladies and gents, have a great night. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much, Pommy. Pour a cup of tea. See you at 7 p.m. for the Blue Abroad show. Go Blues.